Welcome back, folks. This is Delivering More.
Welcome.
We're here on another beautiful Friday Eve in the Pro Football Hall of Fame city of Canton, Ohio.
Woo!
Another packed show on the books here. We got Chad Pollins from GigTube fame. You can find him right on YouTube. He's a little content creator, also an active driver on the Deliver That platform. So we had a little sit down with him. Got some insight from him on how he feels about our platform and also, all the other platforms he's working. So I'm sure there will be tons of insight about Deliver That and then also all these other platforms you guys are operating on as well. So it should be very, very good conversation, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He has a lot of different kinds of information on his channel. So we have, a good array of questions to ask him and hopefully it brings value to anybody out there listening to it.
Right. That's all we're trying to do, right? Keep bringing value. And as always, we'll put that link in the bottom of the video here and in the description, ideliverthat.com/podcast. Sign up to be a guest, sign up to comment on the podcast, submit questions, obviously leave comments in the YouTube page here, like, subscribe, share, whatever you can do to help us get this in front of some more eyeballs. We always appreciate you guys. Let's get into the interview.
Let's get after it.
All right. All right, folks, welcome back to Delivering More. I have our newest guest with us, Chad Pollins of GigTube fame. Chad, how you doing, man?
Good. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you coming on, man. Would you quickly introduce yourself to our viewers, kind of give them an overview of yourself and what you do and maybe why we're actually having you on here?
Yeah, I'm a full-time gig economist for the last 3 years. Started out doing Uber and Lyft, and I got into Instacart, DoorDash, Grubhub, Deliver That, Amazon Flex, you name it. So I kind of multi-app between all those apps these days.
Awesome, man.
I have a YouTube channel about the gig economy called GigTube that I've been doing also for about 3 years. And so it's mostly like tips and tricks like about Instacart, Uber, and Lyft. And then I have 2 weekly shows. On Wednesday night, I always interview a fellow gig tuber or gig worker or somebody in the industry. And then on Sunday nights, me and my co-host, we go over the gig news of the week. So, lots of content on my channel.
Hey, pumping it out however
really
you can, man.
The gig world.
Yeah, you got a lot of good content on here. That's why I wanted to bring you on here. But
Thanks.
before we get too much into that, what'd you do before you did that? What'd you do before you got into the gig work?
I was in the Navy for 10 years, and then I was in IT world for 10 years.
IT world, was that a lucrative endeavor, I bet, but a little boring maybe? Why? Like, what actually made you get into the gig space full time?
Yeah, I just kind of got burned out on cubicle life,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? Actually, I'm originally from upstate New York, and then I moved here in 2015. And I originally worked for Publix at the headquarters in Lakeland, and then I got recruited for a job for Microsoft in the city where I live now. But I was only there for a short time before I left, and then I went into gig work full time.
That's impressive, man.
I could always go back to IT work.
Mhm.
Actually, I get calls and emails like every day from recruiters. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if it works out.
Yeah. So wait, when you say you moved there, where are you now? You're in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Sanford, Florida. It's about 20 miles north of
Gotcha.
Oh,
Orlando.
yeah. Perfect.
So then when you obviously starting a YouTube channel, you usually start off slow. It's not immediately successful. When you started doing the gig work, did you kind of pair that with the YouTube channel? And then is that how you started?
Yeah. Yeah, because at the time, there really weren't that many people doing it. And especially when it came to Instacart, there weren't a lot of videos about how to do it right. And like I saw like this huge hole in the market that I could fill. So I started making like Instacart how-to videos and tips and tricks and all that stuff. And I got a pretty big following doing that. And then, I always dabble in other app videos too. So like I do have videos about like DoorDash and Grubhub and Uber Eats and Amazon Flex and stuff like that too. And then like I said, I started doing the podcast this summer.
Mhm.
What I know you're obviously mentioned a ton of apps and platforms you're active on. It seems as of late, I think you've been doing an Instacart thing, maybe like seeing how many deliveries you can take with them over a month period, I think is what Jim was telling me. Have you found that utilizing only one platform is the best process on your end? Or do you think it's feasible for these independent contractors to operate within multiple platforms every day?
It depends on your market. Like the Orlando market is not super lucrative, like if you're in San Diego or Denver, New York, something like that, you could probably get by just doing Instacart or just DoorDash or just Uber Eats or something like that. But you really have to multi-app where I live just to get by. I mean, if money was no issue, then I would probably just do one app.
Hmm.
I mean, multi-apping is kind of nice. You get a little bit of a
Right.
variety, but I kind of prefer like the stability of doing one app over and over.
For
Right.
sure. And I know for us on our end, the biggest, I think, your best quality, I guess I would say about our platform specifically, we believe is our communication channels, right? We have an active hotline. You can call it, text it 24/7, or for the most part, like 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have you had experience on these other applications where you're able to have the same communication channels, or have you had experiences with Deliver That where it seems to be, something new brought to the forefront?
Yeah, I would say Deliver That probably has the best of the support because I know like it's all American based. There's a couple like small apps like Roadie or Dispatch that are like that too, but I mean, I very rarely use them,
Hmm.
and I very rarely have to would call support or something like that. But yeah, like Instacart, you have to go through an automated virtual care assistant, basically talking like a bot, and then you're on a chat with somebody. They used to be able to actually talk to somebody on the phone, um, but you really can't do that anymore unless you ask them to call you. Same thing with DoorDash. Most of the other apps, the big ones, they're all call centers
Right.
overseas. So there's definitely a language barrier there, and also long wait times and things like that.
For
But
sure.
yeah, with Deliver That, it's pretty quick.
Do you find that to be like a tangibly, different thing to have? Like you said, with Instacart, you're kind of operating with a bot and then possibly communicating with a person in real time. On these other
Hmm.
platforms, like typically for a delivery with Deliver That, you might have a restaurant delay, you might not be able to get a hold of a customer, and so they're reaching out to us in real time, getting new information or information that wasn't initially provided. Do you have scenarios with other platforms that you get to a pickup or a drop off and you just don't even know what to do because there's not enough information, or you need more? Are there any scenarios like that?
Um, Rarely, like if the customer forgot to change the address in the app, and they're like, "Where are you going?" And I tell them, they're like, "Oh, that's my work address. I'm
Right.
home." And then they give you their home address, and it's like 10 miles on the other side of
Yeah,
Mm,
they just
yeah.
town.
usually always paid with like a
Something like
preloaded
that.
credit card or something.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, fortunately, it's pretty rare. Um, that kind of stuff. Um, it's more about like problems would be like yeah, like the address is wrong, or this has happened to me where somebody gave me their address and it was off by like one or two
Yeah.
numbers. So like the GPS couldn't find it. And they were at 1392 and I'm looking for
Right.
1394 or something, or 95 or whatever. And like there's no such house. And I'm like, am I supposed to go knock on every door and be like, are you the person that ordered this?
Yeah, just got a lot of foot traffic, a lot of footwork that maybe shouldn't have to be doing in realistic, measures.
Yeah, we do notice too, like people, like you say, you've been doing this for 3 or more years, and drivers who are,
Mhm.
well educated and have a lot of experience normally have to use support, obviously a lot less, but the newer drivers and whatnot usually utilize it a lot more.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a call to deliver that hotline.
That makes one of you,
Everything's
man.
always gone smooth.
We're fielding calls left and right on our end, man. I can tell you that. That is for sure.
Hmm. So I kind of want to get into, what you do, the content you provide, what we're trying to bring to the table. And my first question to you would be, why do you think it's important overall to provide a resource like you do to the gig economy, to the contractors out there?
Oh, you mean like my show and
Yeah.
everything?
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, I mostly do it for fun. It's not too many other people are doing it. I mean, there's only a handful of other channels. There are a couple podcasts that are kind of similar to mine, like Harry Campbell, the rideshare
Right.
guy. Like his whole site is about what's happening with like rideshare apps and delivery apps
Hmm.
and kind of the gig economy in general. Um, and then there's the gig economy podcast, the rideshare rodeo podcast. There's a couple other ones. Um, Most people on YouTube, they just want to watch like ride along videos and they want like tips and tricks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So um, actually, I probably would get more views if that's what I was doing. But I don't know. To me, I just like interviewing other gig tubers and talking about the news of the week because that's something that I'm interested in. And I since there already were podcasts of the same
Hmm.
genre, I like there's clearly a market for it. I'm just trying to get a foot in the door.
Yeah.
Sure. Where do you have specific, I don't know, websites or other YouTubers, or I don't know, like I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I get a lot of my information from like
Mhm.
QSR and FSR and those kind of websites. Do you have people you rely on for your information, or are you just sourcing everything yourself most of the time?
I basically have like a bunch of Google News alerts set up, and like I can just go straight to Google
Right.
News, and they changed it recently where you can you can actually follow specific companies, and you just click on it. Like instead of Uber, it'll say Uber Technologies Incorporated, and like I click on that, and it shows you all the news for
Right.
that
You set up
company.
Google Alerts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And then like they'll email it to me once a day, but then I can also just go straight to Google News and see what's happening there. Plus, I mean, there's other people on Twitter that I follow and like other podcasts that I follow that like we share links with each other.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's how I follow my most of my news.
Perfect. Do you have anything that you like? You said you produce a show week over week, like a weekly news show. Do you have anything that you look for to speak about, like week over week or every single podcast? Do you have things you touch on consistently, or things you find that people really look for? Like obviously you have the tips and tricks, and like for the most part, that's figuring out how to make the most lucrative amount of your time on specific platforms. Do you have things you feel
Right.
people want to hear about or want to know about on a more consistent basis? Like who has the best volume this week or this time of year or things like that?
Um yeah, it's not so much like kind of like a business news show because I feel like if people want that, they can watch like CNBC or something. Um, Something that we do try to cover is like the viral TikTok
Right. Like the
videos of the
reactions
week,
and
like
stuff.
of crazy deliveries and stuff. Any like like real major breaking news, like um, like if Uber was getting sued for racial bias facial recognition software. If there's a strike like Instacart, a bunch of shoppers have gone on strike recently. Like this coming Sunday, I think probably the biggest news, it's kind of a slow week, is that Amazon is paying like a class action lawsuit. They're paying out like 60 million. So like every Amazon Flex driver is going to get
Wow.
like a small paycheck soon. Um, just things like that. People like, so we try to cover like like whatever's the most breaking and like news
Yeah.
that's going to actually either affect somebody who's watching or listening or would at least find it interesting.
Hmm.
And then we try to mix in like the funny stories, the TikTok videos, the viral news. Like we cover local news a lot. Like it's funny because bad things happen to delivery drivers all the time, and there just isn't enough. Like if you just Google delivery driver, every day it'll be delivery driver shop, delivery driver
Hmm.
carjacked, delivery driver
Wow.
robbed.
Yeah.
And it's like I mean, unless it's like something really really significant, it's like there's just not enough time to just cover every single bad thing that ever happened to every single delivery driver.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we try to keep it light, with those funny TikTok videos. Like there was one of Amazon driver who he had like packages in his hand. He was like swatting at a bee, and it flew up onto the person's roof. That was pretty funny. And like with Halloween, there's all these videos of like the decorations that just jump out of nowhere and like scare the hell out of the driver. So like yeah, like those are funny. Or just drivers complaining about their jobs, or hey Leo, he wants to be on TV.
Hey, what's up, Leo? Welcome to the show.
What else? We try not to cover like stuff that we can't prove, like Reddit posts and Facebook posts,
Yeah.
where people can just write anything on
there's like no
there.
substance to it.
But unless it like gets like some kind of massive traction, or if it's like short and funny,
Right.
Well, what about you? So you obviously you cover these crazy delivery stories that happen to drivers and whatnot. Do you have any experiences yourself that are really made or break, or very positive or negative experiences that you've had on deliveries?
Nothing too out of the usual. Actually, we talked about something that happened to me on my show a few weeks ago about a crazy request that I got on Instacart. That was clearly somebody was trying to pull a scam or something. It's a really long story, so I just have to refer you to that video. Otherwise, we'll be here for like 2 hours.
That's fair.
But also, it's not really family friendly either.
Gotcha.
But so, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty lucky. I guess I live with a lot of pretty normal people, and I haven't really had too many wacky deliveries. I think like the weirdest, like it's funny, like where I live is like it's both like it's suburban, upscale, like there's lots of gated communities, like, and then like there's trailer parks, and then you can go out, like then there's country, and like I'll deliver to like farmhouses,
Wow, yeah.
with chickens and horses and all that stuff running around. So like it's where I live is like the craziest like cross section of just like the geography, I guess you could call it. So it's like regular suburban trailer parks, dangerous neighborhoods. I've delivered to mansions with McLarens and Lamborghinis in the garage.
Yeah, Florida's got a variety for sure. You got the Daytona Speedway not too far, right, from you as well?
Yeah, it's about 45 minutes an hour north of me. But I mean, that's way out of my
Okay.
zone. Although I do go up there every once in a while for Amazon routes, but I haven't been up there in probably a month or two.
Gotcha.
What about you mentioned the Instacart where you felt like someone was like putting a scam on? I know recently we've had like I think it's like the same customer, right? T, like we sourced out this individual who was placing deliveries like almost daily or like week over week, and it would end up getting flagged for being a scam. Like our drivers would show up and they'd go to drop the food off and just be like a parking lot, and some guy would just like
come from around the
call
corner.
them and they'd be like, oh hey, I'm here, I'll meet you in this car. Like, do you think that's like become more occurring, or there's like opportunities that people have, like, I don't know what the right word is, but people are finding ways to like, I don't know, pull one over on these delivery companies and like scam people like that? Is that something you think is, I don't know, becoming more apparent?
Yeah, especially like I'm surprised they would pull it on, big expensive catering.
Yeah, I mean, they were multiple
more like
hundreds of dollars of
DoorDash,
food.
Uber Eats, Grubhub, stuff like that. All people have to do is they just say they never got their food,
right?
Or it actually, and it works both ways too. Like there's a lot of scumbag drivers out there too. Like you'll see TikTok videos of people's Ring doorbell or whatever, where the driver will
like launch
walk
the
up,
food at
put
the door,
the bag on the doorstep, take a picture, and then take the bag and go back into the car with them.
Oh my gosh!
But
don't tell me that.
I have an app on my phone called Timestamp Camera app that like it looks like a regular camera, but it has the GPS coordinates.
Oh, okay.
You can't see it.
That's
on
a
here,
pretty good idea.
So I always take a picture.
Drivers that use that
with this app, because it has the exact date, time, street address, GPS coordinates. So if a customer tries to say they didn't get their stuff, I'm like, well, I have this as a backup. Fortunately, I've never had to use it, so
Yeah, that's funny though, because
knock
I
on
actually have
wood.
talked to some of our more experienced drivers. They use that same exact application as well. So once you really get into it and learn a little bit about the business, maybe that's something you come across.
Yep.
So obviously you worked in you've worked in like all these, some of these I didn't even know of that you said roadie, all these different gig jobs, all these different
Mhm.
platforms. Is there anything specific? I mean, I know they're all different and this is kind of a broad question, but do you think there's anything specific all gig platforms could do better for contractors?
Besides pay the
I
drivers
thought you'd
better.
say that. I thought you'd say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, the pay kind of varies from app to
Mhm.
app, and some of them actually do pay pretty well. Probably like Corner Shop by Uber is like Uber's Instacart. They're they're trying to get that going, so like they're paying really well right now.
Mhm.
There's a construction delivery app called Curry. They're paying really well. Deliver That pays really well. Um, my only complaint about Deliver That though is that you don't know what you make until the next day or a couple
For
days later.
sure.
Mhm.
Um, but for I mean, it for you, what usually only takes like an hour's worth of work, it's almost always worth it. So, um, yeah, I wish, and just so like a decent pay and transparency too is like a lot of these apps, they're kind of out competing each other for like who can be like the most transparent. And like the big controversy this year is that with DoorDash, DoorDash will hide the tip amount over a certain amount. Actually, Uber Eats does this too. Um, so like when it shows, like when you get an offer on DoorDash for, like here it's for, Wingstop for 3 items going 4 miles, and it's a payout of like 10.50, which is pretty good. And like you drop it off, and it turns out you actually made like 15, which is even better. But they will hide the tips over a certain amount because they're trying to discourage people from cherry picking.
Yeah, they'll like
Oh.
But everybody
subsidize it
cherry
with
picks
the delivery
anyway.
commission, right?
Yeah. Every driver cherry picks anyway. So I don't know what they're doing. And in California, they just passed a law that said that the apps can't hide the tip anymore. I don't think that goes into effect until next year. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And like I said, Uber Eats does that too, but they only hide out tips over $8. So if you get an order in with an $8 tip, you're probably going to accept it anyway. So it's not so much of a big deal on Uber.
Yeah.
Um, Grubhub is pretty transparent. It's just like we want to know like exactly what we're getting into, and like with Instacart, you can see the only problem with Instacart is that it goes by a batch instead of by orders, because like a batch can contain up to 3 orders in it.
Yeah.
So like when the offer comes on the screen, it'll say 3 orders, however many items, however many units, and then it'll show you the mileage. But the mileage is only from the store to the customers. Like with DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats, it'll show you the mileage from where you are at that exact moment to the store to the customer.
Mhm.
And it would be nice if Instacart would include that. Instacart is really opaque with like the way their pay algorithm works. Like nobody can figure out.
Yeah.
It's like trying to crack some Enigma code or whatever.
Yeah. So basically, you would say, kind of sum it up, transparency and payment would be the two things you think.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
I,
Yeah.
I do.
and
Obviously, you mentioned like the pay models with Deliver That and like our communication taxes and things like that. With your deliveries with our platform, were there other things you noticed that could be, easily updated or done, much better? Obviously, I'm sure there's a laundry list of things, but there are some things specifically that you saw that you felt, this would have made my experience that much easier.
um, it's funny. I actually had a list. I think I deleted it though.
Come on, man, get that thing back
Actually,
up.
might be, but it was mostly complaints about the actual driver app.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a lot of times it'll say an order is
Yeah,
available,
and
and I tap on it,
disappears.
and like nothing
Right,
happens, and like it'll just keep sending me the same notification over and over again.
right.
It doesn't say another driver took it. It just like there's nothing there, or it'll send me offers for places that are literally 100 miles away. Um, I don't know. I could go over. Actually, I was talking with Aaron about this last week, and I was like, he said that they're working on given the driver app a revamp or remodel or whatever. So I look forward to that.
We do too.
Yeah.
We hear the same things, we hear the same things. Obviously we have a lot of drivers, and they bring up the similar things. So we're excited to see how things evolve.
For sure. And
I will say that the actual Deliver That app is better than the Vromo or whatever was the one before that.
That's always nice to hear, for
Yep.
sure. And I know, obviously, and the reason I like to bring up and have like a conversation about this is because, like, obviously you had that podcast with Aaron, I believe, last week, and we appreciate you having him on as well. But like you guys discussed, we are obviously, we're not a massive corporation, right? We're kind of like I'd almost compare us like a mom and pop version of like a delivery service, right? So, we don't have this major backing of funding that you can just pour into technology like all these other companies have. We're actually operating a profitable, bottom line business that's, bringing in revenue month over month. So it's almost like, do you want, a better paying delivery? Do you want better tech? What can our platform actually do that makes your guys' experience better? And obviously we hear the complaints, right? Like you're saying, like the deliveries being sent, 40, 50 miles away. And we're readily aware of that. We understand why that's happening, but it's just kind of hard to control on our end at this moment in time with the technology we do have.
Just one step at a time.
Right. Yeah. But like Aaron said, we are 100% working on it, but obviously, you're an IT guy, so tech. I mean, it's a bit of a battle to get some of these guys to get moving on some projects sometimes.
Expensive and time consuming.
Yeah, and that's coding. Like I'm not even a coder. Like it's totally different world. It's kind of like the difference between being a heart surgeon and a dentist.
Yeah.
They're both doctors, but neither could do with the other one's job.
For sure. Chad, do you have anything you want to touch on with us? Anything you want to talk about, have an open discussion about?
I went over a lot of that with Aaron last week, so I would say people could check out my interview with him
for sure.
For that,
yeah, obviously, we can put a link down here for your YouTube page.
Deliver That like blue color scheme. I'm drinking this Gatorade Frost. It's kind of like that same color of blue.
All right, respect.
Yeah, that's a hell of a branding move right there. Yeah, we could get a little Gatorade sponsorship maybe. I think I like the cool blue. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I like that Nike shirt Aaron was wearing.
Yeah, those are like the OG
sharp.
shirts. There's like 5 of those in existence, I think. So those are very hard to come by.
The Nike polos?
That's something, I'm not a huge fan of wearing branded apparel because it kind of makes you look like an employee. But I mean, I guess like if you were doing one particular app like all day, or like you could change, I guess. Like I usually just wear like I'm wearing just like a plain white golf shirt right now. And I have my whole closet full of these. They're all like different brands and different cuts.
You got a lot of bleach over there too. Get all those stains out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
No. Well, they're so cheap. If I can't get a stain out, just throw it away. Buy another one.
Perfect. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on here today. Obviously, we'll do you have real quick? Do you want to plug? Obviously, you have GigTube on YouTube. Do you have Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else anyone can find you? Find your resources.
Yep. You can find me anywhere, either at GigTube or Gig_Tube.
Perfect.
All right.
So it's GigTube at Facebook and YouTube, and Gig_Tube on Twitter and Instagram.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, thanks so much for having us.
I'm working on GigTube.com right now.
We'll look forward to it, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
All right. Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
man. We'll see you later.
Well, that was a pretty good interview. What do you think, Ben, from Chad Pollins?
I mean, it's another one in the books, man. I think obviously what we're trying to do is just bring as much value as possible. And I think talking to a guy like that who has worked way more platforms than I've ever operated on, right? And I assume a lot of these viewers we're trying to speak to and have conversations with are doing very similar things that he's doing, right? They're checking out these different platforms, seeing which ones are most lucrative, which ones make the most financial sense for them, which ones have the best opportunities, and then from there it's just what works the best for you.
Yeah, and I thought it was cool how he was covering all the different news stories in relation to the gig economy. I've never seen anything like that, to be honest. But I have to say, honestly, I think my favorite guest was probably Leo.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I know you're a pro cat guy. I'm not 100% a pro cat guy, but I'm not against cats.
Oh, okay.
But,
I don't know about that. That's kind of fishy, but
Fishy, what?
But let's get into this next segment, all right?
Yeah, let's get into it. Know your city.
All right, know your city. We are doing Boston actually today, and we got a driver. Well, we're going to be looking for a driver. Randomly generate one of our drivers to call and ask them a couple questions about their city. So Jim, roll the spinner.
Roll it. Dig it, 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 dig it.
Carla, all right.
Carla,
let's go. All right, great
Let's
driver, great person. Okay.
Carla, she's a little north of Boston, but she travels down to the city pretty frequently to help us out on the platform. I'm sure she operates tons of others as well. Let's get her on the horn.
All right, here she is. You ready?
Yeah, throw that thing on speaker.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
Carla, welcome to the Delivering More podcast. You are on Know Your City segment here. We're going to be asking you a couple questions about the city, 3 questions actually, and for each one you're going to get correct. We're going to get you a $5 incentive on your next delivery. How you feel about it?
I'm feeling super excited.
All right, you ready?
I am so right.
All right, let's see what you know about Boston. You ready? All right, here we go. Question 1, it's gonna be multiple choice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so which was Boston the first city in America to have? Okay. A police force, B, a public park, C, a subway system.
Subway.
That's an easy one, Carla.
Yep.
That's $5.
That's $5.
That's $5. Subway system, 1897, folks.
And public park, isn't that right,
yeah,
too?
That was actually, we did give her 2 out of 3 chances. Public park would have been an acceptable answer. The Boston Commons, first public park in the United States of America.
All right, Ben, why don't you get her with question 2?
Yeah, hey, Carla, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. All right, Carla, same one. Got another multiple choice. Which household item was created in Boston? Gillette razors, Kimberly-Clark toilet paper, or the Hoover vacuum?
Ooh.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that one's kind of hard.
Think about, there's a stadium close by that has a very similar name.
Letter A.
Yeah.
Gillette razors. There it is, Carla. There it is.
That's $10.
King Gillette in
Yeah,
1901, folks.
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right, you ready for the last question?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
This one has a bonus, too. We got a bonus here.
In the early 1900s, the north end of Boston was flooded by something uncommon. What was it? Multiple choice, alrighty?
Uh-huh.
A, tea, B, molasses, or C, cicadas?
I hate cicadas.
I'm going to guess on that one. Let's see. Letter C?
You say cicadas?
Yeah, C.
Oh, man. We were
Close.
so close. We were so close.
Yeah, it's actually B, molasses.
But wait, Carla, we'll give it to you if you can guess the year, all right?
We got to give her like half a century, though,
Yeah,
right?
It was between 1910 and 1930. If you guess the year, we'll give you the 15.
1910 to 1930.
Yeah, it's a year in between there, almost smack dab in the middle.
Almost.
1915?
Oh, man.
Close. It was 1919. Yeah, we kind of tricked you because we told you all the questions would be easy, but they're not.
I think
I thought it was about the deliveries or something like that.
Oh, no. This is Know Your City, not Know Your Deliveries. Know Your
yeah.
City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I know more about the deliveries than my city.
Oh, man. Well, hey, that's always good. That's why we got you on the platform there, Carla. That's why we love you.
Yeah.
But you did win the $10 on your next order, so congratulations, and we really appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
That's a winner.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Jason.
We'll see you later, Carla.
Thanks, Carla. Bye.
See you. Bye.
Dang, cicadas, though.
Cicadas. I hate cicadas. I kind of hate bugs.
But
in
is it a
general.
flooding? Like, I guess it is kind of a flooding because they come in.
I mean, I honestly, It was tough to think of things that would flood a city.
What about water?
Other than water.
Oh,
But I mean, it was something uncommon. So like,
so water would have been easy. No,
yeah,
though.
water. Yeah, water's like obviously the most common thing that would cause a flood. So I wasn't gonna say water.
Yeah. Well, she did a good job, though, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, hey, $10 on extra delivery, that takes her from like a $25 or $30 payout to immediately $35 to $40. So I mean, that's a pretty good 30 minutes spent in my mind, right?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised. It's pretty revolutionary to have the first public park.
Yeah, I mean, there was I think the police force was actually Philadelphia in 1751. What? I don't think you can say that.
Oh, okay. Might have to cut that one.
But yeah, I mean, from there, I mean, the bonus year, I wish she would have got that bonus year. She was close, 4 years off, 1919.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we can, Jim, can we get some pictures of the flooding of Boston with molasses? Can we try to source some pictures, show the folks at home what that looked like? I don't know.
I took some back then.
I don't know what kind of clarity or quality those pictures are going to look like.
I had an Nikon, so
they were probably still like the cameras you had on the tripod, right? And you had to like
probably
pull the
black
lever,
and white,
like smoke bursting out with like the bulbs, you know.
We could be totally wrong about that, so I'm not going to comment on that. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you shoot your shot.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go in. Sometimes.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
You land among
That's
the
what's
stars.
going to happen. It's going to continue to happen.
Yep.
Man. All right. Well, I mean, that's going to close out our show, right? So let's give these folks what they want. You know, you got the ideliverthat.com/podcast in the bottom of the video here, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Submit your questions. Submit to be a guest. Submit to be a driver on the platform at the very bottom there. You can click that link, get your onboarding process started almost instantly. Mm-hmm. And obviously, please like, share, subscribe, comment on the videos. We want to get this in front of as many eyeballs as possible and keep bringing you guys as much value as possible. So, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah.
We'll see you next Friday.
Thanks for tuning in.